Okay, so this is the second and last Jlab sheet in the very first, Jlab tasks. There's 3 in the first, and then in the second there's more, in the third there's more, in the fourth there's more. There's many sheets. So this is the last one in the first sheet. And the question we have is, write a program that computes a taxpayer's tax payment for a year, given the taxpayer's annual income and number of children. It is assumed the tax is calculated at 24% of income less tax allowances, where the allowances consist of a personal allowance of €5,000 or pound and a child allowance of €1,000 per child. Okay, so this is the first, this will be long enough code. So again, I recommend that you try it yourself first and see how you do. And if you can't get it, then look at the video. But don't try it and after one little hiccup give up straight away. Keep trying. The best way to learn is to do it yourself. And if you honestly, genuinely can't get it, then look at the video. So anyway, on to the program itself. Back to my Java tutorial. Java, reusable files. We'll copy the 2 of these as usual. Jlab's another new folder. This is Jlab02. And paste. Okay, so we'll rename this one Jlab02 and get straight into it. So date, it's still the 7th. This is the last one I'll do today because it's now 2:30 in the morning and I'm still doing this. Jlab02. Purpose, this will read in a taxpayer's info and display his tax for the coming year. Jlab02. Okay, so we'll start off by learning something new in Java. Okay, the first thing we know from this question sheet is that we know the tax is 24%. We know the personal allowance is €5,000 and we know the child allowance is €1,000. Now, when we know we have a variable that will not change, we declare it as a constant. Okay, now it's just good coding practice. Okay, so to declare something as a constant, we call it a final. And then data type, we're going to use double. A final double. Okay, so final is the key word here. And also, it's good practice when you're naming final variables to name them in all uppercase. Okay, so final tax rate is equal to 24 because it's 24%. Final double, personal allowance is equal to €5,000, and final double child allowance is equal to 1,000. Okay, so they're the 3 variables we know we definitely need anyway. Okay, so wrong one, this one. Now, next we need to take in the taxpayer's annual income and number of children. Okay, so we need to take double and gross income and also int number of children. Okay, so constant tax rate, constant P allowance, constant C allowance, stores gross income, stores number of children. Okay, so we know we definitely need this now, first of all. Okay, so we can start to begin writing code until we know we need more variables. So system, next we're going to do is get them to ask user to enter income and number of children. Okay, so system.out.print please enter your annual income. Okay, and then we have gross income is equal to input.read and double, because we declared it as a double. Okay, again we'll do some copy and paste to save a little bit of time. There we go. Please enter the number of children you have. Okay, and then we change this variable name to number of children, and also it's an int, so don't forget to change this to read int. Again, you'll get errors if you don't change these, so make sure you do. Okay, now next we're going to have to calculate tax. Okay, so first of all we need to find out how much tax is going to be taken off them. So first we need to declare another variable that will be able to hold the tax rate, or well, the income tax. So double income tax, and down here we will say income tax is equal to, and if anybody has done business, they'll know the way to work out tax is, don't forget our order of operations, gross pay divided by 100 and multiplied by the tax rate. Okay, that's how you work out your income tax. Okay, now we're going to have to take that away from our gross income to find out what our income after tax is. Okay, so again we need to initialize another double income after tax. Okay, so our income after tax is equal to, obviously, gross income minus income tax. Income tax. And that's it. Now we know what our income is minus the tax. Okay, so after we've worked that out, then we have to allow for the allowances, so we'll be adding money back on since we'll be getting our allowances. So first of all we need to obviously work out the child allowance. So what we simply do there is income after tax is now equal to income after tax plus, and then order of operations, we put this in brackets, number of children multiplied by child allowance. So this works out how much we get for child allowance. Okay, so that's that. Now finally we're going to have to work out what it is with the personal allowance as well. Now for this I'm going to make one more variable just to make things a little bit neat and tidy, and we're going to call it double net income. Okay, so finally net income is equal to income after tax plus personal allowance. And that's it. Now we have our net income, we've worked out all of our tax. Now we could have done all that, pretty much all of that, on the one line, But just for the purpose of this, for new people just learning Java, it's easier to break it down into small little parts so you can add it all up together. If you want, come back to this another time and do it all in the one line. Once you're more comfortable with using Java and actually, so you can just put it all into the one line and you have it calculated there and then. Because, at the end of the day, you want your code to just be written as best as possible. Now, this would be, it's good, it's well written, but you're making more work for yourself by putting it on more lines and making more variables that you don't necessarily need. But for the purpose of this, we'll use them. So then we've now calculated tax, and finally all that's left to do is display results. So system.out.print line your net income for the year is plus net income. And that's it. That's the whole program finished. Now all that's left to do is to run it and test it. So first of all, we'll build it. Oh, 2 errors. Cannot find symbol gross pay. Okay, there we go. So now this is where the error checking comes great and handy. So obviously I made a mistake. I initialized it as gross income up here, and down here I called it gross pay. If anyone picked up on that, well done. And then cannot find symbol variable income after tax. There I simply just put a capital I when it should have been a small I. So you have to have the variable names matching up to each one. So now let's build it again. Process completed. So it's now working. And now all that's left is to test it. So what I'd recommend is, once you've done this, first of all, work out what numbers you're going to do on paper first to make sure you're getting the right answer in the code. So let's say our annual income is 80,000. We have 2 children. Your net income for the year is 67,800. That's after tax. Okay, so the program works, and as I said again, mess around with it, do what you like. Maybe put in on the program that it shows you what your gross pay was, your tax payable was, your total child allowance was, and your personal allowance was, and then your net income. Do what you want, mess around with it a little bit just to learn that bit more. But that's all. Program is now working, and all you have to really take away from this lesson is the final doubles. They're handy to use. As I said, it's good coding practice that if a number is not going to change, if it's going to stay constant, you should initialize it as a final. Okay, so that's all for this. The next video we will move on to the second lab sheet, which will be dealing in more complex programs.